Hey everyone, One Big Boss here, and as you could tell from the title of the video that you clicked on, kind of upset about this news. I was gonna do it earlier, but my friend and I were at a festival in the city when we both saw this news. We were both heading in there, and she and I were both greatly upset by this, as the rest of the internet, from what we saw from the rest of the day that we were at the festival. Um, you know, this is something that's really bad news. That when people first heard that Kojima was no longer going to be with Konami and everything like that, people were freaking out like, oh, what, no more Metal Gears? Let's face it, people, Metal Gear has come full circle in terms of story-wise. This is pretty much the final nail in the coffin. If Kojima was going to do anything else with Metal Gear, it would have been remaking Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the games that were on the NES. That would have been all he was going to do, pretty much. Because I quite frankly, I don't know what else there is to do. And also, Kojima himself wanted to start working on other games. He had other plans. And at the time, nobody gave a single fuck about what was going to happen to Silent Hills. The game that Guillermo Del Toro and Kojima were all working on, and they got Norman Reedus in to do it as well. He was like the main character. And now now people are starting to realize, oh shit, shit's getting real. Like, what about Silent Hills? Because you gotta understand, Silent Hills was not just like having Kojima involved. He was using the Fox engine that he developed for Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, a lot of people are trying to say, well, Kojima doesn't own the Fox engine and everything like that. That's not his. Yeah, that was done by him and his team. Because that's the thing. Kojima has a team that, obviously they're paid by They're paid by Konami, but they're not made by Konami and all that stuff. So it's the Fox engine is his idea. So if he doesn't want them using it anymore, I can understand that, because you're firing one of the greatest video game developers in the history of video games. This is a guy who has been put on a pedestal. He's very smart. He knows what to do when it comes to games. He makes fantastic games. And I remember reading a couple months ago that Konami was extremely pissed off, which the funny thing was, it seemed that only Konami was pissed off. The fact that the Phantom Pain didn't have a release date yet at the time, and we hadn't really seen a lot on it. And I admit that would normally worry most people from like another game company if you hadn't really seen much gameplay of a certain game. Yeah, I mean, I would kind of be worried too. But it's Kojima. He's very secretive of what he does. He doesn't let out too much about what's happening with the game he's working on. He wants people to be surprised when they play his game, and I can understand that. But the thing of it is, he did all that. He worked hard to create Metal Gear Solid 5, and Konami also has to realize Kojima was all they had. Kojima was all they had for anything. Metal Gear is the big money maker, because when you think Konami, you think Metal Gear. And when I look back at what Konami was in like the 1980s and the 90s for their games and stuff, an unreal amount of great classic fucking titles that were great. Okay, they handled the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. They made the transition from the arcade of Turtles in Time to the Super Nintendo version, which was fucking epic. There was a lot of, and the Turtles Fighting Tournament game too for the Super Nintendo. That's great. That's fun as fuck. But when that all happened and everything, you look at a lot of these gaming companies, these big name ones like Sega, Konami, and Capcom. They're all about the money. My mentor once told me that the world runs on greed. It's all about the money. And quite frankly, he's right. And with these video game companies, we've seen it. With Capcom in like the mid to late 2000s, that's when we really began to see like a very bad change in how that company was handling their business and how they were treating their head game developers, like, Shinji Mikami and everything like that, Hideki Kamiya, all those guys that worked on Capcom that built the companies up. And pretty much, Hideo Kojima is the golden boy for Konami. And I'm not trying to sound like a rabid Kojima fanboy and everything like that, but I'm just stating the facts of of all this and like what it is. Kojima was the head of pretty much making Konami what it is, thanks to Metal Gear, especially like in the late 90s. He worked on Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 for the NES, but it wasn't until Metal Gear Solid that just like catapulted Konami and shit. And let's face it, the Silent Hill games, fantastic. The first 3 games were fucking awesome, and the Silent Hills team is gone now. That's why Homecoming and Shattered Memories, Silent Hill Origins and Downpour, they weren't really that great. I mean, I liked a lot of them. Trust me, as a Silent Hill fan, I did like them, but there were obviously things that they couldn't top the originals or even really come close. But those games weren't really that great. And the Castlevania guys, they're all gone and everything. They're gone from the company, everything like that. I mean, the Lord of Shadows, that was like the first real Castlevania game that got people hyped up again. I mean, sure, it wasn't like a 2D anymore and everything like it used to be, but people loved it. And then when the Lords of Shadow 2 came out, that fucking bombed, and that had so much hype. But, you have like Konami and these big game companies, and I've seen it over and over and over. It's about the money. Granted, okay, these investors, these guys, they're putting their money into making these games. Okay, sure, there should be a say on how they want the games to come out, everything, but they are just trampling their game developers, and that's what they're doing for real. Like, they are trampling these guys. And you wonder why all of them leave you at one point. We still don't really know what happened with Konami and Kojima. Nothing's really been said on Kojima's part. Donna Burke, who is the voice actress for the iDroid in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, and she was also one of the singers for in the trailers for one of the Metal Gear Solid 5 games. She had said that Kojima was fired. So we know that he's no longer with the company. He's going to finish off Metal Gear 5, and then that's it. And it just makes me think, like, what the fuck are you people doing? Okay? Like, okay, you're gonna have clashes with people, but Kojima was what made you. Without him, what do you got left? Because I've said it before, Konami has not put out a lot in years. It's really rare to see them put out good games or games that people want to buy or big name titles. Sega's gone the same way. Capcom's done the same thing. Capcom pretty much at this point, their moneymaker is Street Fighter and Monster Hunter. I think more so Monster Hunter at this point than Street Fighter, because ever since Street Fighter 4, every variation of Street Fighter 4 has sold considerably less and less and less each time. So, I mean, I'm going to love to see what the sales for the PS4 version of Ultra Street Fighter 4. But you get a game like Silent Hills that comes out. Like, you have the playable trailer, and it blew people's minds. It's amazing. It's scary. It's freaky as fuck. It's amazing what they did with this. And you have 3 big names attached to the project. Now you're going, like, Guillermo Del Toro, he had said that he's not going to be working on the game anymore because I think he and Hideo Kojima really wanted to work together. So he's no longer part of it. He's not saying that it's canceled, but it's looking like it is because April 29th, the game is going to the demo is going to go off the PSN network, which is really, really sad that's happening. So it makes you think that, Silent Hills might not happen now. And you got to understand, people have not been this psyched up for a Silent Hill game or a video game in general in a long time. Like, I mean, there's been a couple of games in the last in the years where it's like, it's garnished a lot of fame and hype, but Silent Hills was everywhere. Once people found out PT was the next Silent Hill game in Silent Hills, everything, Norman Reedus turns around in the previews and you see it's him and shit like that. You see Hideo Kojima's name and Guillermo Del Toro's name and stuff. I saw that, and my mind I lost my mind. I was like, holy fuck, this is really happening. And Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter, the internet itself just got extremely hyped up. And people are like, is Pyramid Head going to be in this? Like, what's this game going to be? I want this game now. It's going to be amazing. And then the main guy leaves, and now you're saying the game might be canceled. Granted, okay, you might not be able to use the Fox engine, but can't you make something like the Fox engine? Can't you get rights to use the Unreal Engine or something like that? Or maybe something better? Or design something like it? I mean, it doesn't make sense. How can you not, like, do you not have anybody else at your company that is good? Was Kojima all you had? Because let's face it, I mean, yeah, when you think Konami, you think Metal Gear. And you think Kojima. So are you trying to tell me that you don't trust your other employees to pull off a Silent Hill game? Okay, granted, it will probably not even become close to what Kojima and Del Toro had planned. But if you follow the guidelines of what it looked like in that trailer, it could be something brilliant and something out there. A video game we have not seen the likes of in years. I mean, PT is the reason, like, Silent Hills was one of the big reasons I got my PS4. my PS4 that's sitting right here, is the reason why I got it, other than Metal Gear Solid 5 and Guilty Gear XR as well. But, now that it might not happen, I'm fucking pissed, as a lot of other people are, because, quite frankly, you've got this game that is garnished so much hype. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants to play it and everything. You're pulling it now, which makes me wondering, if you're pulling it, does that mean we're going to be able to still play it? Is it going to be like, when a game gets taken off of a network, but you've downloaded it already and you can keep downloading it all you want and play it? Because quite frankly, this is a game that people are going to be like, what could have been? What could this game have been? What could it have meant? And again, it's all coming down to these corporate bigwigs. They fucking ruin game developers. They stab them in the back. They screw them over. They piss them off. And they make them under harsh working conditions. And let me tell you something. Game developers don't get a lot of money. Okay? People think they do, but especially in the Japanese market, the Japanese game developers don't get a lot of money like American developers and American CEOs get, okay? And these guys work tirelessly and endlessly, and, you want to do something different, and then these corporate guys come in and like, yeah, we're not going to do that, we're going to make you change it. Best example, Shinji Mikami, when it came to Resident Evil, he built an empire. He helped further Capcom already, in a way that Capcom was still doing good back in the 90s. In the 80s and 90s, Capcom was like king, and you have this guy, he's like, he's been with them for a long time, and he's like, we want you to make a game, and there's a game like, what was it? He makes Resident Evil. It's a sleeper hit, kind of, a lot of people didn't really play the first Resident Evil, but they did, and they loved it. Second one comes out, they get a bigger budget to advertise it, the game gets hyped up. Third one comes out, people buy it, didn't sell as much as number 2, but still widely regarded as one of the best Resident Evils of all time. And then you move it from the PlayStation era to the Dreamcast, and you make Code Veronica. And people are loving it and stuff. The GameCube happens. They come to you and they're like, we need you to make another Resident Evil game. He makes Resident Evil Remake. Remake garnished great reviews and praise from fans and critics alike. Didn't sell well because, it's on the GameCube, and back in the day, not a lot of people had the GameCube. Capcom wanted more. He made them Resident Evil 0, a canceled N64 game. Didn't sell that much. They asked for another one. He makes Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 goes through at least 3 to 4 changes, and let's face it, the way those games originally looked fan-fucking-tastic. Better than the final version, as much as I do like the final version. And then he makes a game specifically for them, for the GameCube, and Capcom 6 months later goes, we're going to port it to the PS2, and we're adding new stuff to it. And it's an inferior version. The PS2 version does not hold up as well as the GameCube version. And the Wii version, quite frankly, doesn't look even remotely as good as the GameCube one. And that's how they screwed that game developer over. And then, with everything that happened with Capcom, screwing over Mega Man's creator. Oh, you got 4 Mega Man games planned. Oh, you want Mega Man Legends 3 to happen. Let's do it. Oh, you know what? No. We're just going to cancel it. And that's what happens here. And that's the thing, we still don't know what happened with Kojima and Konami, and that's the thing, we don't know what happened between them. He's been very silent about it. My theory is he must have signed some kind of law-abiding contract that he can't talk about what happened with Konami if he's allowed to finish off Metal Gear Solid 5, which is pretty much done at this point, and it'll be released on September 1st. So, I don't really know, what is going to happen. And as far as Silent Hills goes, if this game does not get continued, I'm going to be pissed. Now, a lot of people are going to be out there saying, oh, well, you've shit on Silent Hill for not being that great so far and everything. Why would you want another one? I would like to think that there's still smart people within Konami who can probably replicate what Kojima was trying to do with this game. Because, Silent Hill is just an amazing franchise, and what Silent Hills could have been was even crazier. You could have had probably one of the most memorable video games in the last 10 years. And you're deciding to pull the plug on the demo and might cancel the game and give it the axe. So, you know what? That fucking pisses me off. And it's like I said, these big game developers don't understand. Look at companies like Yacht Club Gaming, the ones who made Shovel Knight. They're still doing work for Shovel Knight because they're proud of the game and they're proud that the fans love the game. And they've given it on the Xbox One. You get the Battletoads, you get Kratos in the PS4 version, and hopefully Shovel Knight makes it into Super Smash Bros. Because everybody wants them. But like I said, it's unforgivable what has happened. Maybe Konami and Kojima clash. Maybe Kojima said some things he shouldn't have. But guaranteed, given how these game developers are and what they do and how much money they make these companies, and it's always like bread for them and shit, I have a feeling it was more Konami than anything else. So let me know what you think down in the comments below about this whole thing. Do you want Silent Hills to continue without Kojima and Del Toro? Do you want to see this game get made? Do you not care if it does or not? Or do you think that should just be laid dead because if it comes out, it might be a piece of crap? Or do you believe that there's still people in Konami that can make a good Silent Hills game despite the original people just being gone? So, like I said, write that down below. Let me know your thoughts and everything, because I'm pretty interested to see what everybody else has to think about this, because this is a very serious topic within the gaming world right now, and it's pretty much showing that these big wig companies can be the bullies that they are, and it seems to be acceptable. And it's not. It's disgusting. You got to be like Yacht Club Games and, work with your fans. Listen to your fans and shit. So, either way. So, thumbs up the video if you liked it and everything. Subscribe because it's free in this day and age. Free is a damn good thing. As always, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.